My name is Ifeolu, and with me here,
Salma Ibrahim.
My name is Kako Johnson Mavala.
I will be taking you through a journey for the next few days at the Babcock International Model United Nations. Please stay tuned, like our post, follow us, and you will have an enriching experience. And we look forward to impacting great minds here at this conference.
Everybody, that was architect Chijoke Omajuru just bringing his daughter here for the Babcock International Model United Nation. He was so excited about all the things his daughter can learn here at the Babcock International Model United Nations 2018. And I tell you what, the energy is fantastic, the vibe is awesome. You don't want to miss this.
This evening I've met a lot of people, most of them from Nigeria. I've enjoyed the Nigerian jollof. Well, there's so much talked about Nigerian jollof. I enjoyed it. I've met so many people. They've shared the experiences with me as a first timer. I think it's going to help me really participate in this whole program. And for tomorrow, we're going to have training sessions, and I'm looking forward to learning the art and the act of negotiating for peace, and then improving upon my writing skills, and a whole lot more, and just networking. This evening, and I'm so excited about the way everything has been. Everybody's getting to meet everyone, interaction, and I feel like that's one of the major things we need. Having people interacting together, it would help. And then on the long run, I just want everybody to have an open mind, and let's do what we're here for. Let's have fun, and at the same time, not forget our main reason why we're here. But from my experiences now, it was wonderful.
We are not here, we are really missing.
guest speaker has had an illustrious career spanning academia, government, and international diplomacy.
The United Nations is still the best hope for humanity.
What is the future of the United Nations where the US is trying to cut down budgets?
Between gender equality and then gender equity, which one will feel better?
What are the consequences for a country that decides to quit the International Court of Justice?
So women, organize yourself and demand your right. Nobody can take a country to the ICJ. You have to agree to go to court. I'm coming to share experience with the young ones, the next generation, the next leadership of the continent. And Africa continent is in such poor shape in terms of peace and security, although we have made progress at the economic level. There's a dichotomy that Africa is the richest continent by far in terms of mineral and natural resources, but it contains the world's poorest people. There's a dichotomy. And the only way which it can be fixed, in my view, is good governance and using the biggest resources of Africa. A, with young people, we're a young continent, and two, the creativity of its women. So, in many ways, you are the future, but Africa is in such bad shape, we cannot wait for the future. So you are going to have to be leaders now. Give yourself a round of applause.
No, it's an honor to also be here, and I will advise that whoever is coming for next year, you have to study the issues very carefully. The best ambassador is not one that tells lies, but the best representative is not the one that deceives. The best ambassador are those who know their facts and who have the power of argument. So get your facts, marshal your argument, and try to be a worthy representative of the country or the committee that you are representing. It's a big honor to be part of a UN model because the UN is the only global universal institution that sets the agendas and that promotes values. And agenda setting is one of the key issues. One of the agenda items what we'll be discussing the next time around.
The program has been good so far with the training session today and the welcoming from students of Babcock University. And I'm hoping to enjoy it because this is just the beginning of the program.
diplomatic cocktail here at BIMUN 18, and so far it's been amazing. The decoration is wonderful, and I couldn't even believe it was the same hall I was in last night. It's so amazing. Everyone is looking beautiful.
Welcome. This distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and tonight is going to be a very interesting night.
Father, we thank you today. You are God. You will continue to be God. Last year we were here. You blessed us, and you are here today with us. Continue to bless us in Jesus' name.
Nigeria's call, obey to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. To serve with heart and mind over a nation bound in freedom, peace and unity. Ladies and gentlemen, who have participated at this program this year, delegates that have come from countries across Africa. We come from a country on the west coast of Africa, and we have 16 local languages. So for tonight, I'm going to ask, ladies and gentlemen, you all right?
Babua, Majo, Akwaba,
Mikale, Namifono, Abarizeno.
Once again, on behalf of the University Administration, I welcome you to our campus. Enjoy the night.
The United Nations Information Center is looking onto Babcock University as the flagship of model United Nations in Nigeria, because you are doing it right.
It goes like this.
And I'm really loving that the question is so superb. In fact, it's more than last year. So I had the privilege to be here last year, and to compare to this one, I think it's standard. It's on standards, yeah.
But this is 2018. When Dapchi happened, I couldn't dap the chilling drops of sweat as I saw it happen again. Names turning to numbers, the pain of mothers weeping on the floor, begging the Mother Earth to bring back our girls and fathers, bursting into tears the same way the soldiers of death burst in and stole souls with the promise of no return. Now people, this is haram.
This is a revelation. The mystery of mysteries. I find this mysteriously mischievous that some 510 girls were successfully abducted and a month later were successfully returned as though they were bargaining goods. I mean, this is a milestone to score in this government administration, I believe. The successful security of the return of girls saved but 6 in a well-planned coincidence, exactly a year before general elections. But who am I to judge?
God is the judge. He is not the judge of the jungle justice. He is the judge of righteous justice. I come from Ghana, the home of Akwaba, and the ever viral One Corner. I come from Ghana, the home of Sakwat, Shatawale, and Patapa. See, you may be hot in Ghana, but guess
Aquaba. Oh sister, I know be your brider. Give me one chance, make I be your fighter, provider. Toto for my man, make I be your pasta. Meaning Jumuti, make I be your sponsor.
Yamena to make good to a papa, and a penny is so at that side. Yamena to make good to a papa. Yamena to make good to a Gulali, Ashiwi, Obetibu, Bats, get a king.
There was light upon the earth, and with it came a being that will lord over it all, a being that would subdue the earth, a being that would be there in the morning, at noon, and at night. He was man. And with him came a helpmate, the woman, an extension of him. And together they multiplied and filled the earth.
Thank you very much.
rules the world from the very first beginning, which was laid down by the ruler of all, the Creator. So what do men? What have they done to deserve the limitations of rage? Mother Earth, let the man go in peace.
Man of peace. Man's actions disrupt my peace. It disturbs the earth and all that dwells in it.
Who? Men run to a float to make ends meet in a world where they face economic depression, political instability, war, and natural disasters. I think, Mother Earth, that men deserve no more of your vengeance. But they have seen enough, and they are tired. Mother Earth, I can't speak for man, but plead for the cause for your vengeance. Please let the man go in peace. What does he require of man? What is he wants to change his ways? What can he do?
Here from the concerned forces, man. Multitudes, climate change. By our own policies, stop fight! Stop fight, climate change! Over flooding should be reduced. Yes, it's you who wants. Deforestation, forest destruction, degradation should all be combated. Something should be And when all of this is done, then man can be released.
Delegates here present, it is time we will commence the first interactive session as they make their way into the opening plenary session. How do you decide or settle for a career path?
In choosing a career path, follow your passion. If you check within yourself, there is that something that you like to do. You are never too tired to do it.
In tracing the historical development of diplomacy in the international system to present-day exigencies, what would you say the changes or recent shifts in diplomacy have been?
Each nation must strive to be strong. Each nation must strive to be self-reliant, to be independent. And because once you are powerful, you can influence changes. Diplomacy now becomes dependent on you instead of the other way around. And that's why you have in the United Nations the allocation money, and all that depends on the strength that you have. The United States pays 23% of the whole allocation of the United Nations. I mean, even though all the votes are equal, the truth of the matter is one is more equal than the other.
What do you consider the nexus between climate change and conflict resolution?
I feel like the relationship between climate change and conflict comes in when climate-related changes, they contribute to some of the factors that influence conflict in the first place. For example, like the areas that are affected with drought. For example, where I come from in East Africa, there's drought in South Sudan. So the people from South Sudan, they migrate to other East African countries such as Kenya, Kigali, Uganda and all this, and they come. So when they come to our countries, even as we have limited natural resources, so it's like we're all struggling to get the resources, we're all struggling to use the resources. So in areas where we don't have organizations where they capitalize on conflict resolution, there's going to be a lot of conflict in such areas. So if we set up organizations that capitalize on conflict resolution, I think we can be able to coexist and we can be able to eradicate this crisis.
How has UNIC contributed to the general awareness of the public where sustainable development goals are concerned?
The key aspect of our job is to distill key documents, activities, and works of the United Nations into the language that will be generally understood by the people. And how do we do this? We do this through multilingualism. We translate key documents and the works of the UN, both in country and at the headquarters, into the local languages.
Assembly of the Babcock International Model United Nations, and we declare this assembly open. We shall proceed by taking a roll call from the Excellencies Andorra, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Bangladesh, Benin, Barbados, Botswana, Cameroon, Canada.
I want to warmly welcome you to the second edition of the BIMUN 2018. On behalf of the entire Babcock University community, you are warmly welcome. It is impressive to see you delegates coming from different universities and organizations within Nigeria and other countries of the world. I remember this time last year, we have a first edition which brought together delegates from 7 countries. I'm glad to inform this house this morning that we have about 15 countries represented here today. My impression about the second edition of BIMUN conference here in Babcock is very, very excellent. I can perceive the passion and I see the potential in our young people to go beyond the ordinary to make things work. The organization right from the end of the first edition was just fantastic. At every step of the way, they've been carrying the administration along, and that's what's translated to the huge success we received today.
Model United Nations is not imitating any living institution. It is rather forging the future of our international relations.
BIMUN is a very good program, and like I said at the dinner yesterday, this is the first time I can see such a very organized, quality program and a very intelligent program organized by students around the world, particularly hosted at the Babcock University. It's a very good program. It's thought-provoking. The future starts from now. It really shows the quality of the youth we have in this country and really shows how Babcock University has done so well and still doing so well. I will continue to do so well by the grace of God.
Model United Nations provides an opportunity for the young people from all over the world to understand how decisions that affect our world are arrived at within the principal organs of the United Nations.
We have done training with them. We have worked very closely with the team, and we are quite appreciative of the management support. That is very crucial, in this kind of project, because it's student-led, but the management support is very, very crucial, and we are happy that the team is getting that from them.
Suffice it to say that the Babcock International Model United Nations, BIMUN, has proven to be an example worthy of emulation by other Model United Nations across the globe, and of course, a force to be reckoned with. Distinguished delegates, I am optimistic that in the nearest future, as we model the United Nations today with a level of heated debates that are anticipatory from this session, the United Nations will come to model us.
I've been particularly impressed by the activities of today. I want to encourage the BIMUN to continue in this light. I imagine that this will grow given the necessary attention and diligence and perseverance, will go into an event that indeed the whole world will come and participate in and bring the world to Babcock University.
Throughout the whole world, in history, it has been the youths that have been at the vanguard of development. We cannot afford to have our youths that are not playing an active role and thinking that the future belongs to them. The present must belong to our youth, not the future. BIMUN, it's one thing that is trying to prepare the minds of the young to demystify this whole idea of the United Nations, delegation, participation and so on, and to make everybody aware that that they can do anything that their mind tells them that they can do. So they come here, as delegates, wearing the garb of the delegates and wanting to enter into the whole process of negotiation, dialogue and partnership building among all the delegates. It has been amazing.
The future is here as far as the youths are concerned. We can do it. We must do it. And now is the time to do it.
Thank you. We would proceed by hearing delegates that have their names. I would ask that you file up. You have a speaker's time of 1 minute.
À la réflexion et aux initiatives audacieuses dans le cadre de la gestion des conflits liés au changement climatique.
Delegate from Vanuatu, on what point do you rise?
Rises on the point of information to the delegate of Oman. The delegate of Vanuatu would like to understand and ask, what official language does Oman speak?
Our official language is Arabic.
Order. Order. Delegate from Vanuatu.
That chaired the House. The delegate of Vanuatu rises on the point of personal privilege once again.
You recognize.
It is pertinent to understand that it has become obvious to this honorable House that the delegate of Oman has made it an intentional act to confuse and mesmerize our thought processes, because this official language of Oman is not French, and so the delegate of Oman has decided to speak French and not even Arabic, and did not make available options for the countries who do not understand their language to understand. And as such, Vanuatu is very, very confused, because Vanuatu knows not what Oman is speaking.
Thank you very much, Honorable Delegate from Vanuatu. Delegate from Oman, again, would like to reiterate the fact that Italy has proposed to translate, and you agreed to that. Is that still in order?
No, that would be a little difficult.
Do you have an English version of your text, your speech?
Like I said, no.
Thank you very much, Honorable Delegate. Your time is up. Are there any motion before the House? If there is no motion, we proceed to the next speaker, which is France.
France's role in combating climate change was and is in the Paris Agreement on climate change. The Paris Agreement is a binding international treaty on the climate tailored to the ambitions and capabilities of all nations.
Delegate from Vanuatu.
Vanuatu rises to move the motion for the adjournment of this opening plenary. So Vanuatu suggests that we adjourn this meeting and go individually into our committees and solve the necessary problems.
Any seconder to the motion? Finland.
Finland would like to support the motion.
Honorable Delegate in favor of the motion that the section should be closed for delegates to move to their individual specialized committees to deliberate on the given committee topics, and then come over at the last day for the closing ceremony and the draft presentation of draft resolution. Please signify by the raise of your placards. By simple majority, the motion passes. Thank you.
We've come to the end of the opening plenary section.
I believe young people are the future, and the future is now. And the voice of young people must be heard. It is imperative to engage young people in activities of the world. And that is why I would like to recommend BIMUN to each and every young person out there.
It's been worth it, and it's been really enjoyable.
It's actually very, very interesting. It has built my life socially, because I never thought I could do stuff that I have done here.
I had an awesome experience from what I've learned today.
I've experienced a lot of things. I've experienced like different cultures, like from Nigeria and outside. I'm very happy to be here.
BIMUN so far has been amazing. It's a wonderful experience here. You need to be here. You need to see what is going on here. The youths are not joking. We are pressing forward in the society.
The issue in Libya needs a very critical attention, and needs people to look at it to make sure that not just people on the ground who are perpetrators, but then those who are behind the scenes, who are fast-tracking and facilitating the process, are also brought to book.
The issue on the ground is not of utmost importance to the United Nations Security Council. Further time shouldn't be spent on this. China still believes that Africa should deal with this.
Human trafficking, illegal immigration, slave trade is of no concern to the United Nations Security Council.
You're recognized.
The vital relevance of China's security role in Mali, South Sudan, Darfur. It is important for other strong countries to show support in the fight against terrorism in Africa.
We believe people who are recruited to join such terrorist groups are people who have lost hope or have grievances towards one sector or the other.
Yemen, you have the floor.
Yemen therefore recommends that a framework that allows judiciary processes to address cybercrime should be put in place.
the first party to the case to present their case to us.
The ICJ made a deeper inquiry as to whether the illegal threats or the use of nuclear weapons could be derived from these considered sources of law.
In addition, the United States have credibility in arguing that others must restrain their nuclear ambitions. It is the general policy of the United States that the use of nuclear weapons in any form by any state against another state to settle military disputes is despicable and must never be allowed.
Is there any motion before the House?
Fully aware of the damage and negative effects of climate change to the development of all member states and the essential functions as sovereign states under the United Nations.
By simple majority, the first motion passes.
Canada wants to ask Guatemala that why is it that nearly 50% of children under 5 suffer from stunted growth caused by malnutrition and therefore cannot attend school, and only 62% of girls out of 78% of boys are enrolled in secondary school, and many girls are married by the age 18, and 54% of indigenous girls give birth before age 20.
The issue is with the indigenous community in Guatemala. While it is regrettable to say, Guatemala has two main communities, the indigenous and the migrants. The fact is, as present, there are 52% of indigenous people living in Guatemala. However, the migrants, seeing themselves as more advanced, therefore results to segregation of the indigenous.
It's been a very wonderful experience having to serve so many young people on this conference towards a particular global goal, peace and security, and so many other purposes the conference is being put in place.
Your Excellencies, I would like to welcome all of you back to the second section of the General Assembly, BIMUN, which is Babcock International Model United Nations 2018. I'd like to bring to your idea and to your knowledge that the most important thing for us as delegates is not just to model the United Nations. There is much more than that. The most important thing for us is to go back home and go back to our respective communities and be the change that we want to be. The authority invested in me as the president of the second section of the Babcock International Model United Nations. I declare this second session of the General Assembly opened.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to congratulate you for a successful edition of the Model United Nations of Babcock University for this year. I'm pretty sure you will not remain the same again after you have interacted with one another and you have imbibed values and cultures which will revolutionize your community as you return back. On behalf of the University Administration, I congratulate you for a job well done, and we bid you farewell, believing that next year will be more than this, and we have even better and more engaging discussion. Once again, thank you very much and safe journey back home.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, so we at the UN Information Center, we are quite pleased and happy with the level of discussion at various committees. I visited and observed all the discussion across the committees, and I was highly impressed. Congratulations to everyone.
It has been a stellar performance. Often found the delegates at various committee sessions pontificating, grandiloquating on different diplomatic-driven matters, captivating and regaling their committee session in their diagnosis and prognosis of the diplomatic problems. Distinguished delegates and member states herein present, there is indeed plenty to reflect upon. And if this in any way enhances our individual and collective contributions to meeting the global climate action, then the second session of the Babcock International Model United Nations Conference can be said to be very successful. Permit me to close with the immortal words of the late Prime Minister of Great Britain, Winston Leonard Pensle Churchill. At all times, distinguished delegates, it is always better to war than to jojo. Thank you very much for joining us. See you in 2019.
At this conference, I witnessed creative thinking, diplomacy, compromise, and very little access to sleep. We saw you become modern leaders, diplomats, and professionals. I would like to congratulate and to thank my alma mater, Babcock University, the staff members and management of Babcock International Model UN for their proactive efforts in organizing this Model United Nations Conference.
I'll proceed by calling the first committee in person of the UN Women as they come over and give us their draft resolution.
The UN Women recommends adoption of comprehensive early warnings and early action systems to the women and youth in Sahel region in enabling them prepare for climate disasters.
By simple majority, resolution of the UN Women Committee passes. Thank you. Dissect.
Having considered that cybersecurity threats are among the most serious challenges of the 21st century, which has changed almost all aspects of human life and welfare, emphasizing that all member states need to broaden the definition of cyber attack, not limiting it to hacking, so as to implement broader solutions.
Is there any proposal for amendment on this resolution? By absolute majority, resolution GA011.2 passes. A delegation from Sokun.
Climate change, combating our changing environment. The Social, Cultural and Humanitarian Committee recommends the UN to reach a consensus with member states to formulate and implement mining and reforesting laws, especially to revamp denuded water bodies and reduce coastal erosion.
We will invite a delegation from ICJ.
Our official communique goes thus. Just as the UN Charter from the onset in its preamble outlines the objectives, to practice intolerance and live together in peace with one another as good neighbors, to unite our strength to maintain international peace and security, and to ensure by the acceptance of principles and institutions of methods that armed conflicts shall not be used save in common interest, and to employ machinery for the promotion of economic and social advancement of the people. There should be laws and policies created and implemented to regulate, control the threat of use of nuclear weapons, and parties to the treaties should respect the provisions of the treaties. This is the official communique of the ICJ. However, the ICJ ruled on the illegality of the use of nuclear weapons. Thank you.
It is time for us to recognize a couple of individuals who, throughout the session period, have laid more example than others. distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. The overall best delegate goes to Vanuatu.
Vanuatu has to say a very big thank you. A very, very big thank you.
I would like to call and bring the curtain to the close of the second session of the Babcock International Model United Nations. Thank you so much. Have fun.
basically what we do here, we conserve plants and animals. This was how, it's like a representative sample of how Lekki used to look like back in the day. This is how the whole of Lekki used to look like.